This is Laura Torres with Blue Star Careers. Thank you for joining us. I have a very, very special guest today, a military spouse who has been just an amazing resource out in our community and who is drafting her own career trajectory. But most importantly, she has a very unique career spotlight that I know lots of military spouses out in our community want to know more about it. So that's why this is very unique career spotlight. And her name, without further ado, is Arlene Jones. Miss Arlene, you are an accredited financial guru. Tell me more about you.
Well, thank you, Laura. Thank you for having me, an accredited financial guru. Okay, I'll take that one. So my name is Arlene Jones. I'm an accredited financial counselor. I'm currently contracted with the organization that provides financial counseling on military installations. So I get to work with service members and helping them figure out their finances. So it's a career that I love, I'm passionate about, and being a military spouse of 22 years, I most definitely feel the urge to give back to my community.
That's fantastic. But now tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you find out, or how did you sort of empower yourself to become a financial accredited counselor? What drove you to say, I want to do that one day, or this is what I want to do now?
Okay, well, you'd probably say my grandmother, she made me do garage sales. No, really what it was coming into the military as a spouse at 19 years old, being on a base with no resources. Basically, first paychecks, a baby, and a husband in the military. Quickly learned, hey, you have to make this military check work. Okay, so you have a little bit of nothing and you got to make it last. That's what made me become passionate about stretching that money in finances. Once I realized I was able to manage the finances in my home, I opened a home daycare for my for military members, and then well, actually for the Navy. And with that, I started to learn how to do record keeping and other skills. So I got interested in business and helping people save money. From there, I just took off and went to, when we got to San Diego, I became a student at a university to make sure that I can get a degree. And from there, I just started getting my degree, which is a bachelor's in accounting. So I didn't become a CPA, didn't want to go the corporate route, but I loved helping people with their money. So I'm using that accounting degree to help others save and build wealth.
Perfect. Now, what is it like to work with military families and help them in a day-to-day with their financial needs and coach them in a better so that they will learn a better better tools and better approach to be empowered through the financial readiness?
Yeah, so it's actually great, very rewarding, having people come in and let you know what their problems are and understanding what those problems are and helping them figure out solutions to be better. So on a day to day, I get to see and meet new people. I get to hear their experiences. I get to share experiences. And I get to give some of the knowledge and the information and the resources that I learned and that I had when I came into the military. So it's all about giving back and also making sure I'm there to give that support that they need and that I received as a young military spouse. So I kind of look at it as, hey, I've been there, done that. Now let me help you so you can have a better future too. So it's awesome.
Yeah, of course. And now I know that sometimes though, when it comes to career trajectories and when it comes to sort of tailoring your niche, what helped you? What tools or what helped you narrow down a little bit more your niche?
As we moved several times, about 5 or 6 times, I always lived in the military community on the bases. So I heard the problems firsthand. I heard things that were going on. So with that, I made sure that I volunteered with military organizations. I use a lot of the military resources out in town and just network. Involved also with Blue Star Families, which was a great tool for me to help me kind of, get out there and see what other resources were out there, have that career growth, tailoring to the military family because that was most definitely something that I understood and was passionate about helping. So most definitely volunteering with military organizations, staying active in the military community, and by me living in the military community, I was already at ground zero. So it was just it's an easy fix. I was right there, ready to go, ready to support my fellow family members, really. Okay, so to become an accredited financial counselor, you can have pretty much any background, but you're going to need to put at least 1,000 hours into some type of financial work, whether it be working at a bank or volunteer with an organization, anything towards finances. With that 1,000 hours, you can use that then to go ahead and get an AFC, an accredited financial counselor certification. With that, you just have to take a test, about a 2.5 hour to 3 hour test, and pass that. But once you get the hours, the studying that's the easy part. So, take that test and then get right in there. But one thing I will most definitely tell spouses is if you're serious about financial counseling and helping service members, learn what service members are going through. In addition to build your resume or build your volunteer experience around things that are centered around finances and resources. That's the best piece of advice I can give you because with the counseling, yes, you talk about money, but you have to be able to help them with additional resources and counseling, you hear a lot of things in counseling. So you want to make sure you're prepared for that and prepared to help people and assist.
That's great. Now, how about with your family,
Mhm.
helping get your family behind you to support you to go from maybe not working or volunteering,
Mhm.
and now suddenly working full time and having an amazing job? How do you prepare the household to empower you and to support you?
So, with two kids who are now in college, how did I prepare them? One with school, I most definitely kind of waited a little later until they were in school, but I had to save for emergency fund because financially I knew that I was going to have to dive into either education or volunteering, something that was going to help boost my career, especially because all the moving we did early on, my resume was kind of spotty, even though the education was there. So most definitely saving an emergency fund, making sure everybody's set up and kind of on their path at school or at work, and then taking turns. If it's you and your spouse both trying to get an education, take turns because it's really a struggle if you're trying to do it at the same time, especially active duty because you have those deployments and things, and then you have school and that person's in school. It's everybody's in school, so just be mentally prepared to make sure everybody is set up in their own individual unique activities and then just find your time to get those things accomplished.
That's great. That's a great insight. So now, just to wrap it up, what's next for Arlene Jones, and what's next for
Whew.
you as far as career growth? Where can I
um,
see you now? How can I
well now
how
like I
can I
said,
touch you?
oh goodness. Well, now, like I said, I still work for an organization who contracts on the base. So if you can find at bases anywhere at your local family installations on base, you can find a personal financial counselor. So here locally in
But
San
what about
Diego,
you?
me
What's next for you?
personally,
Yes.
okay, so me personally, what's going to be next for me? Well, continue to help service members on a larger scale. I would like to move up within the government and make sure I'm working somewhere where I can make sure they continue to have the funding for these services. So right now I'm doing budgets for military members. Ideally, I want to do budgets for the government to make sure we keep these services in the organizations where they're most utilized because I'm down here. I'm right here with them. So I know what's needed and I want to make sure we continue to provide those services. So what's next for Arlene Jones? Finishing that master's degree by this summer. MBA on the road. Yes, it's coming. And making sure that our community is taken care of. Hearing those voices, listening, and making sure we're there when they need us. So that's what's next for Arlene Jones. Moving on up
And
the
we're going to
ladder.
be cheering out for you, and I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader behind the scenes
Oh,
because you are helping and empowering our community. So thank you so much, Arlene. So great to see you. So great to see all of the, what your career trajectory has become, and to see all the great success that you have had over the years, and the patience paid off, but also,
yes.
just waiting for the right opportunity, which led to the next opportunity, to the next one, to the next one. And then you are having essentially, I guess we can call it sort of like your dream job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's my dream job. And I'm gonna keep going and making sure. And I really thank you, Laura, for having me today. And I appreciate all the support and encouragement that I received from Blue Star families as well. Couldn't have done it without you. So to all the spouses out there, keep going. No matter how long it takes, and find your niche and go with it. Stick to it.
Yeah, it might take a couple of years, but it will come. I promise you. I promise
It
you. Right
does.
here,
It
there's
does.
two of us who have been through that, been there, done that, and we've seen our niche get polished the farther we explore and we advance into the career path. So,
That is right.
yeah.
I agree, Laura.
Yep. So thank you so much, Arlene. This has been Unique Career Spotlight. I'm Arlene Jones, my financial accredited counselor guru.
Guru.
And so I'm so happy that you had time to join us today. Thank you so much for all of your insight, and we look forward to connecting with you further and checking in on you in the near future to see what you're doing again.
All right, perfect. Thank you.